Hi, my name is Colleen Daly, and I am the Director of Media and Strategic Communications at NDRAPE on campus. In 2016, the Bureau of Justice Statistics released the Campus Climate Validation Study, intended to either confirm or deny the commonly cited statistic that 1 in 5 college women will be sexually assaulted before the time they graduate. What they found is haunting. It's actually closer to 1 in 4 women that will be sexually assaulted prior to graduation, 1 in 16 men. For students in the LGBT community, that statistic is higher. For transgender women, about 28% will experience sexual assault before they graduate. These statistics are awful, and they motivate us at NDRAPE on campus every day to seek justice for survivors.
So my views started when I was 6. I don't remember much other than my father telling me not to worry. What he was about to do was going to hurt, but I shouldn't worry. I was going to get used to it. And that was the beginning of a never-ending cycle of abuse. That happened up until I was 11. And then he added his friends into the mix. Biggest barrier I had to recovery was as a result of so many issues that I had stemming from the abuse. I had severe body dysmorphic issues. I developed an addiction to pain, and it took me everything I had to really even decide to want to be better. I didn't think I was worth it to be better. I was in a hospital bed after being defibrillated on twice. I couldn't move. I was too weak to walk. I could barely even open my eyes. And somebody had told me that my life was given to me as a gift, and it's not mine to throw away. After I got help the first time, I was actually kidnapped and assaulted a second time by the same group of people. That crushed me even more, where I ended up back in treatment. I thought I was worth nothing. And turns out I was wrong, because I now know otherwise. Until today, I still struggle every once in a while, and I have to constantly remind myself that I'm okay. And, every day is another decision to stay better and stay okay.
So like most survivors of gender-based violence, mine it's been an experience throughout my life. But the one that has forever changed me, I was 26, living in Casablanca, Morocco. I was there to do research on gender-based violence and justice reform. On New Year's Eve of 2008, moving into 2009, I attended a New Year's Eve party, and suddenly I became the victim of the very thing I was researching. That is to say, I was violently raped by a Moroccan citizen. In the aftermath of that incident, it's not a country in which there are a lot of formal resources offered to victims of gender-based violence of all sorts, but in particular those who are survivors of sexual assault. At the time, the United States government did not have a protocol in place for how to respond to U.S. overseas victims of gender-based violence generally, and again specifically sexual assault. So I was very much on my own navigating a foreign justice system. It took 5 years and 8 court hearings, but I ultimately did gain justice in my case, and the perpetrator in my case received a 6-year sentence, which in fact is 3 times the maximum penalty for rape in Morocco. So my message to survivors, no matter which country you're in, but within this one especially, is to continue to speak out and to speak up. because the more we speak about it, the more it breaks these taboos around this topic, and it puts the shame on the perpetrators of the violence and not the victims themselves.
The CDC says that 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men will experience relationship abuse in their lifetime. And actually the population that has the greatest risk is young women ages 16 to 24. They're at 3 times greater risk for being in an abusive relationship. I think we have to get people to talk about this in a way that's going to feel really comfortable. From what I've noticed, getting people to start talking about this in a way where we're focusing on stories of what relationship violence or sexual violence can look like really gets people to learn about what this can look like. Title IX has done a really, really great job at opening up conversations around sexual violence, where previously there was not a lot of conversations going on at all. In fact, and many of the conversations were happening behind a closed door, and things were getting swept under the rug. And I think that Title IX has done a great job at giving survivors a voice on college campuses, of explaining how prevalent this issue of sexual violence really is, and really creating some amazing activism out of this, especially knowing that we have federal mandates around this issue that have been previously ignored. I think that really sets sail for figuring out not only how do we make systems better for reporting and responding to violence, but also in preventing violence. It's really hard to know how many people who are actually committing these crimes are facing any sort of disciplinary action, whether it be through the legal system, through your school, or even through some transformative justice models. So it's hard to say how many people are actually getting charged. But the way that I like to think about it is, if you're looking at, it's something, and I don't know the exact statistics, but it's really only a very small handful, say maybe 10% of sexual assaults are getting reported, and you're thinking, so then there's probably 90% of people that aren't getting charged with this.
My story go back to age 6, where I was abused by my male cousin. I kept it as a secret for years, and I wasn't able to tell anyone. I felt scared and ashamed. I'm still healing myself. I think it's a life process of healing, but it does get better, and I have faith that one day I can heal. I hope so, and I will never stop fighting to keep on healing myself and doing stuff that help me heal, such as even just speaking up and helping other women. The thing that was affected the most was that I developed an eating disorder at the age of 12. It happened really fast. I felt uncomfortable with my body because what he did made me feel I had no control of my body anymore. I lost 40 pounds in one summer, and my parents got freaked out, and I've been sent to therapy, but unfortunately none of those therapists asked me if something happened to me, so I didn't get the help that I need. And at age 15 I discovered purging. I got into a hospital weighing 60 pounds, and I was basically dying. I remember I felt really safe in the hospital. I didn't want to leave. I was there for a few months, and I just felt safe because my abuser could not get to me there. I know that what happened to me is not my fault, and that my body is pure, and I'm just in the process of healing it. I want to honor all survivors all over the world, that I know how hard it is, that you're not alone, and that I have faith that if we keep speaking up, we can make a change in the world.
So when I was 17 years old, I was a senior in high school, and it was senior picture day. After that, I went to the park. So I was hanging out with these guys, and it was down to just me and a man I knew and his friend. And the man I knew said, "Come inside the building with me. I just want to run a check on my girlfriend." So I said, sure. So when we got inside, he said, thank God you came with me. I didn't want to leave you alone with that guy because, you know, he's a friend of mine and all, but he's saying some real, you know, sexual things about you, and I just don't want to leave you alone with him. I don't feel comfortable. God forbid something should happen. We get upstairs, and I notice we're on the 6th floor, and I said, why aren't we on the 5th floor? Doesn't she live there? And he said, yeah, I just want to go on the roof and, you know, get some air. We went on the roof, and he just started coming on to me very strongly, and he got very aggressive. He kind of eased up. I just tried to make a run for it, and I pushed past him, and I opened the door, and I tried to run down the stairs, but he pinned me against the wall, and, you know, he started to undress me and, you know, sexually assault me. And I ran down the stairs, and I remember him chasing me, saying things like, where are you going? Why are you leaving? I'm not wrong. Why are you scared of me? And so, you know, then I went to the school clinic. A rape kit was never mentioned. I never even knew such a thing existed or anything like that. So a few years later, you know, I would see this man all the time. That made it very difficult for me to move past that situation. I don't care what you were wearing. I don't care what you said, did, how you let him on. I don't care if it's your boyfriend. The definition of rape is the absence of a yes. So if you did not give your consent, then it's rape and you have nothing to be ashamed of. They do.